will events revive hip-hop?
Do I think events will revive hip-hop? I think yes, they will help to revive hip-hop. So visuals always help. And on top of visuals, anything that elevates an artist is the performance. If you have a really dope performance, people are going to talk about it. People are going to want to duplicate it. And people are also going to be like, I can't just go out and step on stage. There's a time where, especially hip-hop artists, used to get a lot of flack. Just come out, make a lot of noise. It used to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now people have well thought out sets. They repeat them. Everywhere they go, so everybody gets the same quality. So it's great. I think events will help, definitely stimulate hip-hop a lot.
Time is very important. Like when you book somebody, the slots are so important.
Yeah.
If you put them at the right slot and then they get there, they perform, maybe people there who can like relate will be like, damn, okay, yes, we're willing to hear a new song. If you're gonna put this old person, 1905, Omukenyaka 8 p.m., what's gonna happen?
During lockdown, there was a very specific thing that I always look back to, and I'm like, this thing was actually, I don't think they realized what they were doing at the time, but it helped the genre quite heavily. Why Amapiano was able to skyrocket so quickly was because during the time, Amapiano was obviously getting a bit commercial just before lockdown, right? So everyone was like, okay, there's this new thing, Sha, but everybody was coinciding, everybody was, doing their thing. Lockdown happened, and it's as if everybody was just like, oh my gosh, I can't operate, I can't move, I'm now stuck in my house. The Amapiano kids were just like, "Ay, assist by lentole." And I get it, yes, it was illegal. I'm not gonna support the fact that there were illegal parties happening. But those illegal parties were literally piano, 10 hours of piano everywhere you go. And people would flock and they would go to these parties, and a lot of the hot songs and the popular songs came out during that time. That's because of those parties.
What's good? What's happening, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the POPcast right here on the YouTube. It's your boy Moochie for one, baby. I'm not rolling by myself, as you know. I got my co-pilots out here, Miss Cosmo.
Are you calling me out like I'm struggling or something? What's up, Sipa? How you doing?
I'm chilling. You had a good weekend?
I had a very wild weekend. I don't think I'm as young as I used to be.
We're just talking about that off camera. But we're going to get into the weekend in a minute, of course. And to my right, we have the lovely Miss Zippy. Hey. How you lovely?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Today. I hope we don't get you into too much trouble out here. We keep it raw. We keep it honest.
Yeah, guys, please, let's just keep it here. Please,
keep it healthy.
Please.
Speak from the heart. Let your heart guide you. Don't let me guide you. Just follow my vibe.
Right.
Then you get into just
I don't know if that's
trouble.
a good idea, but okay, cool. Let's see what happens.
I wouldn't listen to me either. And of course, this week we are coming at you from the amazing venue right here at the Buzz Shopping Center, and it is called BBW and Co. Very, very plush venue. You can look behind me. How sexy, how nice. With the chandelier. I come here, I saw a chandelier and said, oh, why? You're only short pen. Am I even allowed to come inside? But it's a beautiful venue, man. You guys should come out here. Dope food, dope music, and definitely dope drinks and dope company. At the Buzz Shopping Center, just up Witkoppen. BBW and Co. Let's go. Anyway, let's go straight into what happened this past week or so. Of course, this past weekend, the biggest party in all of South was the DStv Delicious Festival at the Kalami Grand Prix circuit. Lots to say about it. First and foremost, of course, the highlight of the weekend being Mr. Burna Boy touching down in South Africa after about 5 years.
He said 7, 8
He
years.
said 7, 8. I think he's counting other years now.
Yeah.
He's counting things you don't know.
They said about 7 years, I think it was.
Yeah,
Wasn't he like last year, last year in South Africa in like 2016?
2015.
15.
2016.
Yeah, it's been a while. You know what I'm saying? And of course, things have changed for him since the last time he was here.
Absolutely.
He was an African star, but he's since grown into an international superstar, as we know. So great for him. And he brought the buzz with him. And the entire weekend has been about this one artist and everybody wanting a chance to go see him. And those who didn't get the opportunity to buy a ticket seemed they went another route.
Yeah.
Because Saturday was a lot nyana. Yo, it was a lot nyana, guys. First of all, so we're taking it, how we're going to do this, from the bottom to the top or from the top to the bottom?
It's up to you, my brother.
Let's start from the bottom to the top,
Yeah.
actually. Let's end up in a positive note. So start from the bottom. I think one of the biggest things out of the weekend is that so many people were excited. And this is one of the biggest concerts we've had now. I don't know how many stadium concerts we've had since
We haven't had that
COVID
many.
has started. Since
Yeah.
COVID has been, the restrictions have been eased. But locally, this is one of the biggest anyway, because the entire, over 2 days, 24th, 25th September, you get almost 60,000 people showing up at this one venue in Kalami. And on day one, about 20 to 25,000 people were expected. And a lot of them, of course, to come see Burna Boy. If you look at the lineup, you'll see, lineup, it was like, it was just Burna Boy, sharp. But Major League were out there in the afternoon. They did a dope set that some people come out there and join them, perform some of their hits. The vibe was dope, but I feel like the organization of it caught people off guard. This 2-year break, 3-year break, DStv made people forget. How many tags is it? Sipo, Miss Cosmo. They didn't count other people. There was an issue of fake tickets, so there seemed to be an overcrowding at the gates that caused a lot of people long lines getting into the show, especially people who came through general access, which is most people.
Yeah.
People that go VIP, instant exit. But on the other side, there was a bit of chaos that resulted in people missing hours of the show before eventually making it to see Burna Boy and leaving the congestion of it. And I think the lessons from here is that you cannot expect that many people and then narrow the entries into the place.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky part. I think it was just, they could have thought about other options for entry and exit. It's not to say that they couldn't house that many people, because clearly people came in, they parked, they were inside the venue. So accessibility to the venue wasn't, I mean, not necessarily accessibility. I'm saying housing everybody in the venue was fine. It was just about management of getting people in and out.
Yeah.
Which also begs the question as to how they actually host other events like Grand Prix if Delicious is also going to be a tricky thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But nonetheless, I do think it was just they were overwhelmed with how many people. Because also, if you've been to a Delicious Fest before, you would know that I don't think it's had that many people before.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time that they've had full 20,000 people. They may issue 20,000 people, but 20,000 tickets, but not necessarily sell them in the past. And now this year, I think at capacity, and also just the organization of where they were placing things, like where the bar is, where people could actually access food and things like that, how they could top up on their cards with regards to getting food and stuff like that. I think they needed more bar areas, number one, because it took me about an hour to get a drink. And for me, I was a little bit frustrated. It's not to say that the bar staff wasn't trying, but there's only so much they can do with the space that they have. And if there's only one bar area, that means it's servicing all of those general access people. So they could have had a little bit more of that. And I understand the thinking around it being a cashless event, but wow, that thing also causes even more lines, because now people are standing in lines to top up on their tags so that they can
get into another line.
To get in a line so that they can buy food. And then when you don't use all of your money's stuck now in this thing.
Well, actually, if you're using from Howler, you can get your money back. If you go online, on howler.co.za, you link the card. If you still have it in your possession, it'll ask you for the serial number of the card. You punch that in, and then the event will come up, and you click that event, and they'll refund you. I think there's like a 5% or 3% surcharge that you will lose from that transaction, but you can get most of your money back if you have 100 rand, just leave it for the next event. We're talking about if you have something that, you know what I'm saying? But if it's Money okugibela then.
Yeah.
I just think I think it wasn't organized properly, to be quite honest. I think everybody got too excited and too ahead of themselves. And I mean, COVID affected a lot of things and a lot of events. And I think with going into this event, they just thought Burna Boy is going to bring back the money, rather. He's going to bring back the people, you know, and they just focused solely on that. I mean, I was looking at the reviews. People are complaining about the food. The food did not look good at all. And it's a delicious fest.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
it's a food festival.
Exactly. It's a food festival. You're spending a whole lot of money for this food and you're just going to get, for lack of a better word, crap food. It was literally crap food. I was also like looking at that like, whoa, I would be upset as well, you know? And also you complaining about the fact that she had to wait for hours for money. Some girl complained about the fact that she fainted because she waited and it was so hot apparently.
Yeah.
She waited there for like 2 hours for water until she just fainted, you know, and people were helping her, people that don't know her. Now that's also like a safety, you know, thing because somebody could take your phone. So I just think they didn't think about a lot of things prior to doing this event. But look, the turnout was great. It's just that also people were getting like mugged.
I think that the crime situation possibly happened at the end of the event, not necessarily in the beginning. Also for those people who didn't have access to parking on the inside or maybe didn't want to park on the inside because the parking, I think the parking fee was 100 Rand per car. So even if you parked outside or you didn't want to pay the 100 Rand, whatever the case may be, whatever your reasoning was, I do think there were some people who were like, look, I'm going to drink, so let me not drive. Maybe those were also their options. So they said, because they're going to go and have a good time, let them rather Uber. But now Ubering is also the tricky part because now you're having to wait outside to get that, and that leaves you vulnerable because essentially you're on the street.
Right.
And the security is based for the people who are on the inside. So this one's a catch-22, and I say this essentially not to put it all on the delicious fest, but eventing in general. It will always be an issue because there's only so much capacity that they have for the security companies to oversee people who are on the outside. I'm not saying that they need to brush it off, but I'm saying every event kind of has this similar issue when it comes to crime. I know Global Citizen also kind of had the similar issue as well. There was a lot of police presence inside the venue and maybe at the perimeters, but once you walk out of the stadium,
you're on your own.
So that's the tricky part. It's also your decisions as to how you're going to maneuver getting in and out of the venue. And I think that's why it would have been more important for people to then say, let's carpool, let's get into one car. One person can be the designated driver or something. Park inside so that you don't have that issue of being outside. You know?
Yeah, no, the crime situation we know very well in this country. Doesn't matter which concert you go to, you can pick any of the big stadiums, the numbers. But I feel like what you both touched on is that they didn't anticipate, first of all, that many people and just the fandom around the artist. I think when you're booking an artist, you must understand who you're booking as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes because I can tell you the difference between Sunday and people who came, who also love Babyface, also descended, there was a lot more people, but somehow it's like the fandom around him is not the same.
Yeah.
People aren't like dying to be at the front of the stage. People aren't dying to like take a picture. They aren't like trying to get in each other's way. And you know what I mean? So there was this one, kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity, and this kind of legend behind Burna Boy and why he left and now he's back. So you know, there was so much more fan culture around him that they should have really thought, I think on Saturday especially, we need to rethink our venue. And that comes from somebody understanding who they're booking. If people in that room had understood, guys, I think let's anticipate and let's be overcautious about this type of artist. If people in that room knew, because they were like, this guy's a big artist right now. He's got a big hit. South Africans seem to love him. Let's book him and as the headliner, sharp. But now they don't understand the culture. If you have people in the room saying, guys, I don't think you're actually anticipating, especially for Kalami. Because some people were like, Burna is even too big for Delicious. That guy should have been at the stadium. You know what I'm saying? He will sell out FNB Stadium or Orlando. You know what I'm saying? With all the other acts included and everything. So it's those small logistics that you look at which make a big difference. Luckily, I didn't hear anything about anybody like dying or, you know what I'm saying? But it's those small things that can increase, especially Delicious Festival. It's supposed to be like a open, airy, outside, beautiful, we're having a good time.
It's about the experience.
Keep biting, keep nice drinks. You know, you're out having a good time. People don't even mind the sun. It's hot, but they'll sit out there because they know at some point it will say, and no one is like being weird with sitting outside on that car, you know what I'm saying? So they need to now understand when you're trying to change your event, and you got to do jazz especially and bring R&B artists, more mature sound, and you bring an artist who's complete opposite.
Absolutely,
now you're understanding.
You're right. Talking about like the the older acts that they've booked in the past.
Absolutely.
Definitely not on the same playing field as Burna Boy.
No, they're not.
I don't think they've had someone as mainstream as Burna
Yeah.
Boy, who's hot right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
Yeah.
those brought throwback artists that haven't
like
seen in a
Erykah
while.
Badu.
What Erykah Badu and
Yeah, Colleen Bailey Ray.
Yeah,
also.
like-
Corinne Bailey Ray was at the
Yeah.
last one before
Yeah.
COVID. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was Angie Stone and Babyface on
Yeah.
Sunday. It was a different texture
Absolutely.
to what was
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
These are two different concerts when you look at them.
Yeah.
Saturday was a
It
Burna
is,
Boy
Waity.
concert.
Yes.
Sunday was delicious.
Yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
you're
That's
100% right.
So that's the
Hectic.
that's the problem, right? They threw two different concerts and they were trying to manage them both in the same way.
To be fair, I appreciate the fact that they tried something new.
Yeah.
I think you're right about them needing to consider who they were booking, because what I think they were trying to do also, because like you're mentioning that usually they do like a lot of throwback R&B type of international artists, and maybe that brings in maybe say like a little bit of an older market, but also to feed into the younger market, because they've got the China O stage for a reason. That's
Yeah.
for the youth market, but then it's like, okay, let's also give them something exciting to look forward to. And I appreciate the fact that they were trying to then say, okay, let's feed into all of our target markets as opposed to only just one, because that also speaks to how they're trying to evolve the event. So I get the gist of it and the thinking around it. I think it was, like you're saying, then understanding the magnitude of who you are booking and how you need to plan for that.
Absolutely, man. But you know, at the end of the day, like I said, I went on both days and was there from beginning to end on both days. And I can say a Sunday was the delicious that people were mostly expecting.
Are used to.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause even when like I said, Babyface was performing, people were sitting on their camp chairs still having a good time, waving. Not a single human being was sitting on Saturday when
Yeah.
Burna jumped on stage.
No.
From the front of the stage all the way to the back, from the embankment to the VIP areas, everybody was on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Can
it's those
we
things.
speak about the VIP area?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The Psyche EP, you know, it was like so far. The stage, you know, you were blocked from seeing Burna Boy, whereas I felt like the people who spent less money and were in general could see the actual concert.
Yes.
So, what is your take on that?
I can't speak because I wasn't in VIP. Maybe people can indulge on that one. I was Miss General Access. I was at the front, but it's also because I
Okay,
knew, I knew my intention. My intention was to see Burna Boy, if I have to
Yeah.
be very honest. So I was okay with being in General. And also what I appreciated actually about General, because you know everybody always has this facade about, you're going to go there by the masses, you're going to be trampled on. I was perfectly safe. What I enjoyed about the fact that I was in General, you also understand the type of people who are going to this event. The general access ticket, it's not like it was 100 Rand, that ticket. It was
Yeah.
definitely 900 bucks.
Yeah.
So if you're going to spend 900 Rand on general access, you're going to be somebody who wants to look after yourself. Do you know what I
Right,
mean?
sure.
People weren't pushing, people weren't being rowdy, they weren't being, everybody, yes, as much as it was full from the front to the back, but everybody had enough space to stand
Absolutely.
and enjoy the concert, even in general access.
Wasn't
So-
mosh pit shit.
So that's
Yeah.
one thing I really appreciated about that space, is that it didn't feel like I was scared to be in that area.
Right.
And I was more than happy. And for the first time in my life, I could see what was happening on stage, because me and my height, I can never see anything. Concerts, I'm always just seeing some ant walking around on the stage. I was like, I don't know, I'll just listen from the back.
but
This time I actually saw the performance and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, look, on behalf of But by VIP, but on the real though, yeah, it is, I think, a little bit awkward in certain places, especially for the guys who are up on the, if you are facing the stage, on the left, all the way at the top, those marquees that were all along that side, right by the grass embankment at the top, those guys are probably thinking, because you have an option when you stay up there for the concerts to come down into the crowd. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So if you want to stay up there the entire time, it's a bit
Exactly.
weird. Especially because it's just how it's set up. As soon as you get there, if I really want to watch this guy the way, or if I want to get a closer view, I'm just going to have to come down and be in the...
But you
which is
paid
what all of
so
us
much
did.
money.
But so the viewing experience, this is another thing that they need to consider. If you're going to make a hospitality and suite up there, and these guys are paying 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Rand to be up there, but they're only
You're
paying
still
to be
watching it on
up there,
TV.
but the main thing is to be down there. You understand how it just feels like, I don't know, man. They could definitely organize that a little bit
It's
better.
not the case generally for most concerts, because if you think about, for instance, at the Dome,
Yeah.
whenever there was VIP, you would either be in like the suites or
back.
whatever the case is,
Yeah.
you're still at the back. So this thing of people making it seem like it's literally only them who are placing it the way that they are,
It
it's
isn't.
not the truth. Like you're mentioning, you've got the option to come down because you want to then see. If you want to see the performance, you're gonna go down closer to the stage so you can see what's going on.
I kind of
The o-
disagree.
The only benefit for me that I think for VIP is access to facilities, the bar, the food, the toilets. That's what you're paying for. You're paying to at least be in a space where you don't have to stand in the line.
Well, I feel like VIPs for like the most comfortability, you know, ever. And with some of the concerts that I've been to, I can look at VIP. I can still watch what's going on. It's not like I'm sitting at the back and I'm just looking at the stage. I can't see what's going on, you know, and I have to go downstairs. Even if you're in like a suit, you can still see what's going on. Do you understand? Whereas with this one, you couldn't see anything. You were watching it on a TV. So what was the point? You could have watched that at home.
But I will say this,
You know?
if you've been to concerts, you know what the picture view of what people are seeing from a distance versus what you're seeing in real time when you're there is different.
Yeah.
People look like ants on camera when you're taking a picture. But when you're actually there, even if you're at the back, your vantage board, you'll be like, I'm comfortable seeing this guy from this distance.
Yeah.
But if I take a picture, people will be like, hey, it seems like you're far, my guy. You know what I'm saying? So let's be fair as well in terms of like, how, because you could be like, you were saying, you mentioned stadiums, all those suites, that go F&B, all of that should be match. You know what I'm saying? But if you take a picture, it looks like you're gang far.
Yeah.
So you can see from end to end. People are like, can you even see that player? It's like, when you're there, it's a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's that. And also, hospitality, I guess, creates comfort for your coming and going. It's like you have a base while you're there. But you're allowed to free roam. Versus people who are there and maybe sitting under the tents in front of the stage, they can go anywhere else. That's the only place there. You can go rest and sit down if you're in VIP. You can chill out a little bit, charge your phone, then go back outside. So I guess maybe you have to talk about what we're buying in hospitality when we are buying it versus what our expectations are. Because now we know every venue in South Africa. We know how it gets set up. So if we're going to complain about what we can and can't see, then that won't really... Usually people, like you're saying at the Dome, you buy that ticket or go Dimuda, usually it comes with maybe you're going to be in Golden Circle. So when the concert starts, well, you are follow how you go join people down there. You know what I'm saying? So I think what experience you're trying to go for, you must be front of mind. But at the end of the day, I think it was down for organizational. Thank you to Burna Boy because he really saved the night. And also I was there for the grown and sexy Babyface. Come on.
What a phenomenal performer. Burna Boy literally just took my breath away. I was more than happy. I took every video. I took every Zoom, every what. I could see his face. I was thankful.
Body.
Everything. Yeah, the pants. Everyone was complaining about his pants. They were like, are these the pants he chose for us? Why did he do that one? But
I heard some guy say, he was some couple who was next to us, say the guy, I think it was the guy saying, it was the guy saying to the girl, as Babyface came in, he performed 3 songs like straight back to back, and at some point, some song was starting, and the guy said, okay, buy me a rose. You know what I'm saying? And someone said, buy me a rose. I think his government was like, who's the one rose? And then like, oh! And that moment, he got his R&B mixed up. But I was like, I feel you, man. These things are very easy. You know, Babyface has written a lot of songs.
He does.
At some point, he did a medley of all the songs he's written. Then people were like, oh my God, Babyface wrote this too. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. But then that guy said, buy me a rose. He said, my brother.
No, my brother, that's the wrong one.
Lost on that one.
We lost Bralutha some time back. All right. Enough about Delicious. I think we could go on about it forever and about concerts and you know what I'm saying. But we hope that the next one and any other concerts coming up, because now Kasama, everybody's outside, that people continue to be vigilant about people who are coming to the concerts and take care of their safety and comfortability. A few congratulations.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. A few congratulations to some artists. We love artist collaboration. We love seeing guys move forward and increase visibility of their brand, especially on an international footprint. Big Kosa with Fubu. You see the Big Hash is on FIFA 23 and Nasty C collaborating with the video game Call of Duty.
Yo, he loves that game. He's like obsessed with that thing. So it makes sense that he's gonna collaborate with a Call of Duty.
No, I love it, man. When you see these guys collaborate, I guess it inspires people. There's more than just being on stage, more than just recording. Like this residual money, you can be at home and collaboration keeps brand partnerships sustain you over a long period of time. Give you time to sit back. Sometimes they're on stage doing things that are unnecessary. You know what I'm saying?
It gives them time to be in studio.
Make a little bit of money, make some smart decisions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Didn't Moonchild also have
FIFA 23? She was on FIFA 20 or 21. But she was I want to say one of, if not the first South African artist to be on the FIFA's
I heard she was the first South African
She might have been the first, in fact. You know what I'm saying? Not the first. Okay, the guys in production at the back are like, incorrecto. Because I do remember somebody else, but I don't know who it was, but it's fine. Stogie. All right.
Oh, do me on the volume.
No, there you go. Actually, you're right. The T from the V. The entire collective, sorry. Yeah, they were on one of those. So shout out to all three of those guys in the
Yeah.
collaborations. We hope that it opens up more doors for them and definitely inject something into their career that
And
creates some
also
momentum for them.
opening up opportunities for other South African artists, also for them to see that there are opportunities outside of just jumping on a stage. And what's dope about these international brands is that now they're also coming to look at Africa to say, Africa's got next, who is the next person we can kind of collaborate with? Because FUBU is an international brand, very big, FIFA as well. So Call of Duty as well. So I love the fact that they're looking at Africa and looking at South Africa. So if you're an artist and you're working on your craft, these are the things you need to kind of prepare yourself for, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And staying with artists and working and growing on their craft. DJ Maporisa came to Twitter to let people know, Guti, look guys, we have a big problem in this country of artist management, a lack of artist management and a lack of A&R. If you know what A&R is, it's artist and repertoire. So let's maybe break down both roles and see what we're actually lacking in this industry. It's like not a booking agent, your artist manager. Now, an artist manager's role is essentially an extension of yourself.
Yes.
This is somebody who is a partner with you in your career, who has the same vision about where we're starting today and where we want to see each other in the future. The same way you think about yourself as an artist. So they're involved in every aspect of your business and always making sure that you're making the right decisions and moving in a way that complements you as an artist. Whether it's what shows you do, who you collaborate with, how you roll out your music, how you handle your brand and merchandising. You need somebody who's there, who's, like I said, basically an extension of who you are, because this person, even when you're not in the room, you know that the person understands you and is able to put deals in front of you that actually benefit you and drive your career in a positive way. Because artists, these people cost money because they're there to help you get further and make more money.
Yeah.
We're scared to pay people sometimes in this country, or when it's time to pay PR, time to pay anybody who highlights the artist. People like to keep the money here and be like, I don't need an artist manager, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A&R, you're talking about a person who's there to help you directly with your music now and help your music have direction and help you get with the right writers, the right producers.
And
basically.
just packaging the music.
And packaging the music in a way. You need that second, you know what I'm saying, that third eye in your, because you need to be able to step back and somebody else will tell you, Sipo buys that.
Yeah.
This is how actually we need to approach this. You need to sit back. Every time you listen to, I believe 2 episodes ago, we are speaking with Akio.
Yeah.
And he was talking about whoever A&R the song Sete did a brilliant job of it. These are the things, because understand it's not KO's job to sit there and to always think about who he must collaborate with.
Yes.
You must have somebody who has the ear on the ground, who's able to say, I know exactly who we need to get on this track to take it from here to the next level.
Yeah.
And that's where artist A&R comes in. That's why you have an artist manager as well to help you say, this is who we should be talking to in order to get us and as an artist, you will never at any given point know everything. And you definitely need people around you that are positive, right?
You do. It's like having like a mini you.
Yeah.
You know, who sometimes we genuinely as artists can't do everything.
Yeah.
You know, because especially as females, I believe, sometimes you may come across as a bitch.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need somebody who's going to be that bitch.
Yes.
Who's going to handle the fact that you haven't been paid, or who's going to handle the fact that you want to, work with the next person. Our egos also drive us a lot as artists. So sometimes I'll be because because maybe so you'll have that person who will come and handle that for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very important.
It's definitely important, and I think you're right. Sometimes it does boil down to budget, because people are just like, hey, I've only made 10 rand. Now if I pay all these people, I'm only left with 1 rand.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to invest back into your brand. You need to invest back into your career, because you also understand that as much as you're giving away a lot in the beginning, it's going to pay itself back in the long run. Because all those people are going to have to do their jobs. They need to account for why you're paying for them. And if you're paying them to do artist management or to do A&Ring, then it's going to work in your favor at some point, because you can't do everything by yourself. And even then, sometimes you might think you've got the acumen, but you just need, you can't be surrounded by yes men. Because that's also the problem. You need someone who can challenge you, who can challenge your thinking, challenge the decisions you're making, but also be a risk taker for you. Because maybe you're a little bit worried because you're just like, hey, no, but I don't want to ruin a relationship. It's fine. Maybe your artist manager needs to be the person who can put their foot down in certain places so that you can elevate.
Yes.
Because sometimes that's also what happens even with, maybe say even with bookings. and I know this is not what Mapuris is talking about, but it's an example to say sometimes promoters will go to an artist directly and say, but you know, you've been working for years since you started your career, then they want to offer you 5 rand.
Make it cheaper.
When are you going to elevate to a point where you're going to be charging 100 rand as opposed to that 5 rand? You'll never get there unless you've got somebody who is the middleman to fight for you and fight your battles, who understands your value. And that's the point of an artist manager, to also grow your brand to a point where you become equitable, where you can charge 100K for a performance instead of charging 5K for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And I mean, I remember I was watching some interview and some UK artist, I forget their name, and he was talking about how he, from the beginning, knew that in order to be a bigger artist, I want to say Stormzy, Skepta, I don't know, I'm not sure. But some UK artist who's, in this interview anyway, what's important is that he was saying that when he started off, right, he wanted to elevate his career in a quick way. It's like the music was hot in the streets. People were taking him seriously before he had so much visibility. So himself and his manager and his team were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to hire other people around us. And so we're going to get like a good PR company. We're going to partner with the right people on radio, right people on television. And we're going to make sure people that we need to get paid, we'll pay. We'll pay ourselves last. Me as the artist and me as my 2 guys, we're going to eat last. We're going to make sure that we pay people their money first. And us, the 3 of us, it's fine. We'll have a bigger plan of where we're actually trying to go. And when we get there, people will think about us wherever we go, even to do favors and perform for free. It's like we'll do all that so people can remember us. And anytime we do things, we'll put our best foot forward. We'll make sure that we look professional, even though we're not making that much money. So when we start rolling out, people have really taken us seriously. The relationships we built, people say these guys always pay. For example, when they hire us to come do some branding for them, when they hire transport, they never give a story saying the promoter didn't pay us, so we're not paying you.
Yeah.
They say we always make sure that our bank account had money, just so we can pay people to take us seriously, knowing that the money, we have a bigger plan. See, that's foresight.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm looking forward to the future. We already know where we're going. If you believe in yourself as an artist, you can be like, I'm gonna risk everything right now because the millions are coming.
Yeah.
But before they arrive, people must find me already ready and already professional.
Right.
And people take that professional element we take it so lightly in this country.
But
Be
guys,
professional.
I you know, with what you just said, it's so important because for you to have a person like that, do you know how much sacrifice they need to make on their own? So they need to like really believe in you. And you're lucky if you get somebody who believes in you at that point, to a point where they just like, it's fine, we won't eat. We're just believing in this brand and this artist, and we're just going to push it. Which is the problem here in South Africa as well. I feel like a lot of people don't believe in a lot of artists.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Everybody's greedy. Look, managers sometimes want to be the celebrities. Agencies want to be the celebrities. We are forgetting what's the vision over here. So sometimes it's a bit tricky. Do you understand? Yes, you should be paying everybody first before yourself. But what if moto you know what I mean? I also want to be known. Like, so it's tricky.
I think what the lesson to take from there is the amount of sacrifice you need to make yourself before anything. Don't immediately want to shine, especially over your team, whatever, when you know you're all not eating. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for you to live that way, where you know that we can take care of the stuff that we need to take care of right now. The bigger rewards are coming. So definitely people need to have something to keep them going, including yourself as an artist. You gotta be like, I can't just sit here, not look the part perhaps or whatever, or be in certain spaces. We get that, but you have to understand what the sacrifices you need to make. And sometimes people are too quick to want to be superstars.
Yes.
Because maybe they've got a hot song right now, a hot, you may not have, I want to say, if you had one opportunity to make one album, one tour, one spectacular run, would you make any mistakes? If they told you you have only one opportunity, would you leave any stone unturned? Is there places you wouldn't visit? Are there tours you wouldn't consider? Are there merchandising you would leave? You'd consider everything. If they told you you only have one opportunity and if you flop, we're not going to give you another one. You'd never make that mistake again. And if you carry yourself that way with every project, I feel like you find yourself winning more than you're losing.
And in spaces where you are working with people who try to overshadow you as the artist, I guess you also need to then be steadfast in your career and say, look, me, I'm here to take it to the top. If you want to shine because you want to be drinking my rider at the club,
out, bro.
Do your own thing. You take your own money, go and do what you need to do on your own. Or find somebody else who wants to be dedicated. And you need to be strict with yourself and the people that you're working with so that they know what their purpose is and what they're there to do. Because if you don't put your foot down, then they're also going to get relaxed and they're not going to get the work done.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And definitely find somebody who completely 100% believes in you, believes in the vision, believes in the dream. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the first step.
Yeah.
Once somebody trust, I really see such a big future here. Then you guys are good. Now let's start seeing what we can do to get there.
It reminds me a little bit of like Kanye's documentary about how the videographer was just like, there's something about this guy. Let me just follow him from the beginning and see.
Yeah.
And for him to have all that footage for all that time was because he believed in what Kanye could do. And that's what you need. You need somebody who can sacrifice themselves and sacrifice what they see for themselves to then say, I'm dedicating to this person because he's going to take everybody to the top, not only just me. And you know, that's the point of a team. There's no iron team. You all got to work together.
Absolutely. I'll ask both of you one question, the same question, and just answer as best you can. A&R artist management, an artist in South Africa who you think is getting that right?
Java.
Wow. Didn't you even go in that direction? You've thrown me off now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. An artist who I think is getting artist management and A&R right. Wow.
Or at least seems to be getting it right, because sometimes you may not know personally what's going on in the camera.
I know.
But from their
the scenes.
perception, you're like, I think this person has good A&R, good artist management.
Right now, I would look at maybe say somebody. Okay, outside of the obvious of Black Coffee, maybe say like a Zex Bantwini. I would also even pitch it to somebody like Maporisa, because in and as much as he's the visionary and he's the artist, he also understands that he needs to work with other people to get certain ideas out. That's one thing I actually love about Maporisa, is that he's not gonna sit back and act like he's not gonna hear an idea coming from anybody else who's sitting in the house in the studio at that point in time. He's gonna listen to everybody's ideas. So that also kind of contributes to how he can take his music to the next level, because he's always thinking about what's next, and he'll ask the people or the kids that he stays with what the next is. So I enjoy that about him, you know.
He's a businessman.
Absolutely. And I think for me, one of the younger artists, well, SDC obviously is a mainstay, but I think he's somebody who I can look at and say, you can see this guy has people behind him who can think. You know what I'm saying? And they treat him like, I don't say like gold, but they treat him with the respect that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? And obviously maybe there's that switch up of him when he signed up to Def Jam, that he obviously now has that maybe a little bit more international appeal. But even locally, as soon as he started being a big deal, I feel like a guy like Nasty C seems like somebody who has the right people in the room. Because you remember he was very young, but he was able to pull things like with Davido and Cassper and get their attention and get them in the room. And I've seen how he moves now and the people he has around him. And I would say, Oguti, his team is definitely, he has a team of people that you all can think, not just from DJs, guys working in studio, but even the people who are running his show. I feel like they've got a good head on their shoulders. Also, they seem to do things that match his personality, his character as an artist. I've never really seen him do something and be like, what? This doesn't match Nasty C as a... And as a guy who's that big, I guess sometimes you even have to turn things down. This is just... So that doesn't say Nasty C. Not just because of money. It's like if they see me saying, come through and shop at Boxer, they'll be like, Nasty, I don't think you've ever set foot in Boxer stores, my brother. You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy is that he's only 25. Like,
so young.
He's still got so much more to do. Do you know what I mean? So that's dope.
What about Musa Keys?
Yes, loving what
as well.
Musa came. Musa also, I think he's a visionary in himself. But what he also understands is getting the right people to execute what he needs to get done. So shout out.
Actually, shout out to Nivo. Nivo and Tiamo. They holding that brand down really, really well.
They're doing a lot of work. Yeah.
Shout out to that.
Shout out. All right, and going into our weekly show, our weekly dose of Rings of Power, of course. You guys have been joining us in the spaces every Thursday on Twitter with Amazon Prime. And we've been having quite a lot of discussions with people. And I like this past weekend, or this past week, on Thursday, if you joined us, then you realize that we had these two guys who were in the group who had a lot of knowledge, very well read in all the JRR Tolkien books, exactly where every single one.
I forgot the other guy. Karabo, yes.
Nkanyiso and Karabo, shout out to you guys. And they had so much knowledge about where the storyline is going, where it's been, and also all the subplots, because they also have their own books, and the Hobbits have their own books. I was sitting there going, my bro, I'm still calling these guys my guys. Now, you guys, I think you got into Numenor and Durin. I'm like, you know, that guy with the blonde hair, with the one who walks like this. But those guys, and shout out to them, man, because they really came into the space and gave people a lot of perspective, pros and cons about where the show is going. So it's really great. And again, we encourage you guys to come into the space and join. Episode 5 aired this past Friday. Episode 6 is this Friday. So again, when you guys watch this, join us on Thursday.
On Twitter, they'll be hosting the space every single Thursday at 7 p.m. We'll be co-hosting it. And of course, just engaging with everybody. So if you've been into the show them as much as we have, please do join us just so we can banter a little bit and share some thoughts.
Absolutely. I mean, this past week, episode 4 really impressed me because I felt like things were happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere we could look, from Galadriel to homeboy there who got captured by the Oaks. You see, that's the
homeboy.
That's the homie. To the Harfoots as they're making their trek with Ada now, whose name we've come to know. Episode 4, I felt like was moving at a pace. I was like, okay, now the storyline is trying to unfold. But these guys, episode 5 came, and again, the storyline just got constricted a little bit.
Weird.
And you know what I'm saying? And everything felt like a bit slow, and every scene felt like it was I was like, oh, now we've paused again. You know what I'm saying? And we're back to unpacking. And I think it's very important. People are just saying, look, you guys are going to have to be patient. Because from this 5 seasons that we're expecting of this show, you guys are 4 episodes in already complaining about how it's unfolding very slowly. We're going to have to be very patient. And I'm realizing myself, you know what? You're going to have those episodes that give you a little bit more and satisfy you. And then all those ones that kind of deal with the storyline and the nitgrit of it. What do you think of episode 5?
I definitely am sitting on the same page on that one. I do think right now they're setting the plot. And especially if it's picked for 5 seasons, you don't want all the action happening so early. So I think people just need to be a little bit patient, one. But also understand that these things are being shown now so that it can make sense to you in season 2 or in season 3 or in season 4. And if you don't have the base of the storyline in the beginning, it's going to be complete chaos. And I think people are just expecting war and fight scenes and the danger all happening now. No, then what are we going to have in the next couple of seasons? So I think we just need to be a little bit patient and maybe also just concentrate on the details, because I think the details are also unfolding a little bit. And that's what I realized about episode 5. Where obviously with
say the guy,
the hobbits. No, not the hobbits, sorry, the dwarves.
The dwarves,
where the dwarves had obviously found the ore that they were mining, and the elves, it's now been unpacked in episode 5 that the elves are going to need that ore so that they can save their land and where they stay, because the tree that they've basically given them energy in their land is deteriorating and it's dying. And if it doesn't get this ore, them as an elven people won't be able to survive. So little things like that are starting to come together as well. So it's understandable why they need to collaborate. On the other end, there's also Galadriel, who is trying to build an army, but now she's also been caught out to be like, oh, well, now you've got a squinch because of your brother. That's why you're busy creating this war. Meanwhile, everybody else is just like, do we really have to get into this thing? The princess actually spoke to her dad, and the dad was like, don't go to the Southlands. There's just darkness for you there. If you enter there, it's going to be a problem. So now she's second guessing after backing Galadriel with creating an army for them to go and fight Morgoth. So how it's going to unfold in the next episode, I think is going to give us a little bit more context. But right now, I think the little details are playing a part for a reason, so that we can see what's going to happen in the next season.
Absolutely, man. I guess we're just going to have to be a little bit patient, myself included, or maybe myself specifically. But again, like we said, join us every Thursday on Twitter, Prime Video ZA. Join in the space. It's at 7 p.m. And of course, for the rest of the episode. So keep joining us on Thursdays as we unpack the show. Learn a little bit more. Complain if you want to complain. Let us some frustrations, or ask questions if you want to ask questions. Like we said, there's some pretty learned people about the show that you join every week, and every week has
people who read the books and like us.
I'm saying they're going, who's this guy? And they're like, this guy's father. I'm like, oh. And I'm still trying to catch up. All right, cool. I think we're gonna go straight into unpopular questions.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we do
Let's
have
stir some things up this week.
Our famous hat here, where we've got our questions. Remember, the questions we don't know. The producers are the ones who put the questions together. So we're also reading it for the very first time. Okay, so I'm going to go for this one.
How does this work?
I'm just going to ask
She's
a question.
She's going to pose a question or a statement, and then we're going to discuss.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. Again, I didn't know this question, so it's happening for the first time. Will events revive hip-hop?
Will events revive hip-hop? Do you want to go first?
No.
I'm so proud of you.
No, nigga.
I'm so proud of you. She was like, not for me. No.
All right. Do I think events will revive hip-hop? I think, yes, they will help to revive hip-hop. You know, back in the day when I was a kid, when music videos used to be music videos.
Yes.
Right now, a lot of people are just making them to make it. There was a time where you listen to the song, artists used to roll out the single with the video, so you get the, you know what I'm saying, the visuals immediately. You know, if you watch TRL back in the day, you know, you used to trying to get all the international music videos or if you watched any of the local Bob TV back in the cut.
Ooh, Bob TV.
Bob TV, shout out, 30 plus gang
wow.
I'm sure you
gang.
heard the bunny ears real, ne?
Oh,
Don't
my
play
God.
with me.
Of course.
Play with something safe. Don't play
Oh,
with
my
me.
word. Big thing.
So visuals always help, and on top of visuals, anything that elevates an artist is the performance. If you have a really dope performance, people are gonna talk about it. People are gonna wanna duplicate it, and people are also gonna be like, Lena, I can't just go out and step on stage. There's a time where, especially hip hop artists, used to get a lot of flack. Just come out, make a lot of noise. It used to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now people have well thought out sets. They repeat them everywhere they go, so everybody gets the same quality. So it's great. I think events will help, definitely stimulate hip hop a lot, especially hip hop centric events, of course. Even guys who haven't performed for a while, who haven't had music out for a while, to come back up at a popular event, perform some of your old hits, get people to remind you again, in anticipation of you dropping some new music. I think it will definitely help. Because sometimes you go to popular events and you don't see certain people on stages. You haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
Also, they're not getting invited to these stages because it's like, what are you going to come perform, my brother? But I feel like if it's hip-hop centric, then we have these big lineups like Back to the City, for example, where it's like, this is a hip-hop event. When did you release music? Yes, they want all the hot guys, but also want guys that are well-loved, respected, that have a good following on stage.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and maybe Back to the City would be one of those opportunities to people to be like, oh, there's this guy that I like. I haven't seen him in forever. Because you're not busy on the socials, you're not dropping music, but now I see you. And suddenly you have a little bit of momentum to maybe drop some music or something, you know?
Well, why I said no to answering is because I feel like it depends. What type of hip hop are we talking about? That's very important. We've got the conscious hip hop where a lot of people used to listen to that, Do Me From The Volume, Do Me and The Volume. We've got Bob Blackie now who are more, in the commercial side. I think right now we are dominated by social media. That's what's going to carry people's careers like for a very long time. Performance-wise and event-wise, it's a bit tricky. Like you said right now, that sometimes you want to see somebody from like back then getting on stage. With the new people now, sometimes you'll get on stage and you won't get a great reception because they're just like, who are you?
Yeah.
What is this? And they've completely forgotten. So you feel uncomfortable as the performer, like being there. There's like 4 people singing along. How's that going to bring back your career? Especially if you're going to drop a new song. They're going to be like, who the hell is this guy? What's along? Unless also, time is very important. Like when you book somebody, the slots are so important. If you put them at the right slot and then they get there, they perform, maybe people there who can like relate will be like, damn, okay, yes, we're willing to hear a new song. If you're going to put this old person, 1905, 8 p.m., what's going to happen at 8 p.m.?
I agree with one point that you're making is about placing people in the right time slots, because with eventing, you need to be very strategic about how you're putting that lineup together. Because if the lineup doesn't make sense, people get bored very quickly and they leave.
Right.
So you don't want them to leave early while you're waiting for your headliner to come on at 10 p.m. or whatever the case may be. However, I do think eventing can bring back hip hop because there's a certain element of live performance that instills the passion back into people and they can feel. So you see how you said you drop a song, so you get the audible, then you drop the video, that's the visual. But the feeling of the music comes from performances. And that's why I do think it's important. Not even performances, maybe even just you have an event, there's a DJ playing all the hot songs that you used to enjoy, as well as dropping in some new songs. Those events I do think are important. And people also need to remember, like during lockdown, there was a very specific thing that I always look back to and I'm like, this thing was actually, I don't think they realized what they were doing at the time, but it helped the genre quite heavily. Why Amapiano was able to skyrocket so quickly was because during the time, Amapiano was obviously getting a bit commercial just before lockdown, right? So everyone was like, okay, there's this new thing, Sha, but everybody was coinciding, everybody was, doing their thing. Lockdown happened and it's as if everybody was just like, oh my gosh, I can't operate, I can't move, I'm now stuck in my house. The Amapiano kids were just like, "Ay, let's just buy lentole." And I get it. Yes, it was illegal. I'm not gonna support the fact that there were illegal parties happening. But those illegal parties were literally piano, 10 hours of piano everywhere you go, and people would flock and they would go to these parties. And a lot of the hot songs and the popular songs came out during that time.
That's true.
Because of those parties.
But they would lock you in the party as well, so you didn't have an option. You're just here like, yes,
girl, like I said,
I personally wouldn't know.
The illegal part of the
I love the
events
law.
is not what I'm supporting. Okay, the point I'm trying to make here is that they saw a gap and they said, let's also push our genre during this time because people still want to hear something.
Yeah.
And they were literally pushing every time. They would literally go from studio and drop a song at one of those parties and people would go crazy. By the time they were like Bopa was one of those songs that came out during lockdown. Why? It got famous at those parties. By the time they actually dropped it and released it, it was already a hit because people were hearing it at all of those parties. So I do think eventing can play a specific role in reviving a genre. And I think it's important for us to also understand it's not only about performances. It can also just be about, let's get some DJs to just play some music. They can introduce some new songs as well. Maybe they'll get 1 or 2 new artists to come and perform. That's how the Cantari age also kind of came about. MT's career was also kind of birthed in the Cantari age. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because he was the new guy. There was just DJs playing. And then he was like, yo, let me rock. Jumped on stage, performed. Then he was performing every weekend because you need people to feel you when you're playing music. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I definitely agree to that. And I also say all the artists, I mean, you can never give up. I may give up on an artist and be like, I'm not going to listen to this guy, I don't know ways. But you as an artist, unfortunately, you can't go on my energy.
I will not try.
Especially if that's what you do.
Not everyone's going to love you.
If you're put on this earth, that's what you do. You're an artist, you make music, you tour, that's what you're supposed to do. So even when your star does this or your time goes down, you can't stay there forever. If you're an artist, you're going to get back up, find a way to get in tune with the new markets. Because yes, you can take a break and find out, oh shit, if you last released music, let's say 2018, 2017, things have changed right now. You know what I'm saying? Things are not what they used to be. So you're coming back and you're like, I'm not an old artist, but I've been put out music in quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the other thing. You think there's old artists and then there's just artists who haven't been around in a while, but they're just still young. But because the era now has left them, they're not in the social media generation, how it's exploded. They haven't really jumped in and collaborated with anybody. So, but it's very easy for you to get in the studio tomorrow.
Exactly.
It's very easy to endear yourself to new artists, come a little bit closer, go to the events, be seen, and people be like, hey, I saw Mang Mangda. I haven't seen him out in a little bit. He seems to be out in the spaces. Whilst you're out there, next thing you start rolling with new people a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's where you go to A&R, artist management. You surround yourself with a new team. And then they're like, yeah, you still got the talent, obviously. So let's see what we can do to reintroduce you. So these events could help you just to be there, step on stage, to meet new people, see what the new vibes is, come alive on social media. You can find it very easily. Guys, you can be dead for a long time. All it takes is one song. Eh?
Exactly. And I was actually about to say that because there's always opportunity for regeneration. You just have to reinvent yourself and work with people who are also going to do very new school stuff, but also keeping that professionalism and that authenticity that got you famous in the first place. If you look at somebody like KO, he is the master of reinvention, number one. Zaid Pantwini hadn't released a song in a very long time. First single out, I mean, he's touring the world. Do you know what I mean? So there is a possibility. You also just need to understand that you can't stick to your old formulas. There's new formulas that need to be adapted.
Absolutely, man.
Also strategy. Like it must be very strategic. Don't just, and think that it's gonna blow. Like you guys need to think about this like very carefully. Even with the events that you're going to go to, everything must just be done.
Absolutely. You must think of it. It doesn't matter how big you used to be. If you're trying to get back into it, then maybe slow. You must just wait for your moment. For example, you look at a guy like MT who was the biggest superstar in hip hop at some point when he released Avery, you know what I mean? But you look at him right now and he's trying to reinvent himself. You see he's still making music. He hasn't gotten back to where he wants to be, but he's busy. He's visible. He's like collaborating here, he's collaborating there, he's showing up, he's staying visible. He's staying in the game because then you'll know that's where the creativity will come from. When the hammer drops and his hit comes again and he's able to blow up like he used to, that comes from never giving up. If KO had sat at home and said, I got things are doing this, after a while, he wouldn't be here right now. He'd be talking that Khutman energy where it's like back in my day, I had he stayed in it. He never stayed better. He stayed even if he wasn't making the biggest hits, he stayed involved.
It was focus.
He stayed involved, so he's always able to like catch on to what's going on in the music. So he evolves with the wave. He doesn't stay behind and has like a 10-year gap to try and catch up to or something like that. He stayed in the game, and that's why he's able to again collaborate with Blackie, Young Stunner, kids who are hot right now. It's not weird for KO to like collaborate with them because he's always been around.
Yeah.
If KO had kept quiet and then suddenly comes out with the Blackie KO Young Stunner track, we'd be like, oh, what la?
Yeah.
He's using
What
the new
the
kids
clouds,
to
yeah.
get himself up. But now it
Yeah.
doesn't come across that way anyway because he's always been around.
Right.
He's just making music like he's always done.
And still performing a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He stays visible, he stays busy because that's his
Yeah.
bread and butter. He's an artist. Get on stage
Also, he
and be an
doesn't
artist.
treat himself like an OG.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
he's still very young and hip and happening.
Yes.
Sure.
So we also still relate to him. Even my 2000, I'm sure they're just like, whoa, KO.
Yeah.
Even though we know when we were young, that was the guy that we were watching when he was with Tear Gas
Yeah.
and then Scandal. You know what I mean? So I like his energy. That's working for him.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to the guys still doing the things. And for all of those at home watching, waiting, wondering for your moment, just come outside. My brothers and sisters, participate. Number one thing you must do is participate. All right. Let's get into some new music that's out this week. I want to give a shout out, or maybe it's not a shout out, or call out to my boy Lemmy, because Lemmy, when he was here as a guest on our show,
Yes.
he complained about Elaine. At the time, she had dropped some single, which coincidentally now we can't remember. And he was like, things aren't going the way that they used to for this girl, and you guys aren't paying attention. She had a big hit, and then she's been struggling to, considering she was a new artist who had a big hit, she didn't like catch on that momentum and immediately use it to like at least a second LP or a full album and like keep going. And she got signed by this Columbia Records in America. So we've been waiting for Elaine to like do the things and build up from that EP. It was an EP,
Yeah, it was an EP.
That her debut EP that did so well in that year. And she seems like she's been struggling to grasp at that star. And even this new track, Deja Vu, which came out last week, I feel like it's not the one to take her to where she needs to go. She sounds very mature on it. The song is very, very R&B. It's for the R&B heads. And it doesn't seem like an attempt for her to like reach out to like a wider audience or for any sort of like commercial,
Can I ask you a question? I feel like when it comes to Elaine, everybody fell in love with her because of the EP, right?
Sure.
The EP was very Heartbreak Hotel, In My Feelings, R&B, that type of vibe, right? So that's what people know her to be.
Sure.
Now, rolling out of that, I think she tried to do like a pop song. I think it was Shine, if I'm not mistaken. And that had a little bit more upbeat type of tempo. People were just like, we hear you, but we don't hear you. And now she's going back to what she thinks was the same formula with the EP. What do we want from her?
Hey, man.
What do people actually want? Because I hear where you and Lemmy are coming from, but I'm also just like, at what point will we be satisfied with how she's going to take things to the next level? Or do we want her to just keep releasing until we say, this is the one?
No, I'm here saying that just really do dope shit. It just doesn't sound dope. It's not
No,
bad
but are you
music.
getting her question though?
Or-
like, yes, do dope
Sure.
shits, but little khotsofala neng.
Do we want her? Do
like
we want?
when?
Do we want to do a
I
pop
want her-
song? Do we want her to do an
Heartbreak
upbeat,
Hotel,
must she go
Amapiano.
back?
But, okay,
I
what
think
you guys are
I
saying
think she
about
must do an Amapiano
House music.
she
feature.
did. I mean, first of all, she can do
Gospel.
she can demo whatever she wants as a vocalist. She can demo what she wants, but she had great music on that first album.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The music sounded great. It sounded well thought out. It was very well written.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it connected with everybody. I didn't have
think
to
the
explain it to you.
writing-
The writing especially. So the music she's making now is not bad and has never been bad. I listened to this tech Deja Vu. I'm like, this tech is a dope R&B jam.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about what is she going to do with this jam? How is it going to help her come alive or have a big moment again, maybe have a radio single or something like that. So I'm thinking, I don't know where to place the song. The song is not bad, it just doesn't sound like it has direction.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't sound like, I don't know where to place it. Her current career, I don't know where she's going with it. Because I'm not saying, maybe it's a lack of, maybe it's collaborations that she needs and start bringing somebody in
I
there.
do collaborations. I
I'm saying-
think that might be the thing that we need from her.
'Cause when
Because
things-
she's been doing a lot of singles.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
So it's a collaboration. Not in that song that she released. It might have been Shine. Where she's on the boat in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And that she released a video for it. That track was also dope. But even when I listen to that track, I'm like, this moment won't last. You can hear a song and you're like, I know after a while people are gonna get over it. It's not the type of song when you first heard other songs from the LP, Boy the One. You're like, I know this is gonna stick in people's minds. People are gonna bump this shit for quite some time. I'm gonna hear it everywhere. That's exactly what happened. I'm not hearing any music like that from her. She has to change. Still be R&B, but you have to find, maybe it's the songwriting, it's the producing. I think like it's those small things. And when they meet each other, maybe she'll have who knows? Maybe she's already has that song in the pocket, and this is deja vu. Is just one of those. Just give you something when I'm busy. Got something. And maybe that's the situation, and I hope that's the situation because she's a supreme talent. I feel like
maybe they must go back to the drawing board, like her and her team.
Yeah,
and think, because these are very important questions. Think, this is what the market is saying. This is what your listeners are saying. So what's going to make you stand out and go boo?
And Uta, another thing, Hape, I was talking to Ms. Cosmo about is because she signed to a label, an international label, Columbia. I was thinking to myself, labels are very pedantic about how you release music, and now they hold on to you and they tell you the right moment, the right track to stick to. This is the market we're gonna go for.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you lose a lot of control when you sign to a major label like she's done. So I feel like maybe part of the problem is that she doesn't have as much as it says she used to, and she's not finding that situation very comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like they're waiting for her to make another hit. Maybe she's in studio cooking some stuff up, and maybe it doesn't sound the same. Major labels where you're signed on the same label where Beyonce is. It's very, it's a lot of pressure.
Beyonce and Adele.
Beyonce and Adele. Like when you're on that same stable, it says a lot about the type of people that what they expect that side. So maybe she's not hitting the right notes. They're like, this is not the one. This is not the one. We know that it can be constricted when you're signed to a major label. So I think later on we'll hear that this period, whether it lasts or maybe she might break away and go back to being, I think we'll hear her explain it a lot better. Things were not going the way that we thought, or maybe it was harder to just drop new music, just be in the studio and record freely and speak from the heart. So and then because she's very young again, maybe it's like you're not that much of a big voice to stand up against the big record companies.
And do you understand the level of frustration she must be going through to not be able to say anything?
Personally, I feel like it's that because I feel like getting in the studio and for that girl to write and release music, I don't think is a hard thing.
Right, So
there must be some other factors that we don't know about.
I do believe a collaboration might switch things up for her.
But
I think she needs to try it.
Who would bring her up? South African or an international person?
I think it is important. One thing about artists also is that there's a very important factor in sticking to home ground and building your home base, fan base, before you do take things to the world. Because people in the rest of the world need to understand who you are in your home country so that you've got an identity.
Right.
Even if you look at somebody like Burna, and I was actually watching that, I was thinking about this even when I was watching the concert, is that he's an international star now. He's literally living his life on the road, doing the biggest things. But in his visuals, he will constantly always go back to Nigeria to shoot his music videos. He always has an essence of home so that it's part of his branding when he takes it to the world. He doesn't sell them this fake thing that looks like, I'm just trying to fit into the rest of the world. He's saying, I'm Nigerian first and then I will come to the rest of you. Because he knows he needs his fans for him to take it everywhere else. And that's why I think it's important for someone like Elaine, who I think missed the mark. She built her fan base in South Africa and then said, okay, I'm gone. And then went to LA, and we were all like, "Oh, sisters, let's grow with you." Do you know what I mean?
Here, we still haven't gotten the full value.
Exactly.
Because your music album dropped, and then it was locked down. You didn't get a chance to tour it properly here locally and have your proper South African moment. So when you leave,
she should have toured it.
There's people who are seeing at that side. They're like, "Oh, but no, this is South African." But
imagine if Makadzi, it was with Makadzi, she would still have a whole lot of people like after her because, hey, bamu respect about you know what I mean? They literally follow her.
And also, I feel like for a girl as young as she is, Elaine, I feel like she should be more visible of her youthfulness. You know what I'm saying? In terms of come across online, and when we talk about the power of social media, I feel like she should be using it as an advantage to like always galvanize her audience and be like, guys, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you need to do on social media, you must do it, especially as a young person. When other young people are at your core market, they look at you and they're like, it seems like you're confused between a young and satisfying an older audience, also being like mysterious a little bit, not posting that much. Like there's a lot of things that she could do to easily revive herself so that every time she's dropping new music, she can get some energy from her own
audience.
Her audience, I'm saying. So I feel like those are a few things. Definitely not from a lack of talent, but something doesn't seem all the way right there, but I hope over time that she does get it right. Sha Sha is back with a new album.
Yes.
I'm Alive. First of all, the album cover is boss shit.
So nice.
Yeah.
That purple durag situation with the purple coat that she's wearing. Already, I saw that. I was like,
so
I'm
regal.
gonna press play here because what's Alive? I'm saying, definitely. It's so cool. It's a mixture of regal. Also, that band, the durag just adds a little cool edginess to it. You know what I'm saying? There's a track on there called Take Me. I don't know what it is about that track, man. It's very beautiful. She has a lot of features on the album. the likes of...
Isn't it like just 2 songs where it's just her and then everything else is like
Bomusa
features?
Keys are on there. I believe Maporisa. Blackie's definitely on there.
Yeah.
So it's a very dope album, I feel. It's called, I tell you guys, I'm Alive.
Sha Sha's a talent, man. I think she also knows her pocket. She knows where to stand. She knows how to write her songs. She also knows how to collaborate. And that, again, is also speaking to the right A&Ring who is involved in her album. Also understanding when to drop, how to drop. There was definitely a lot of PR and press around her album. So they did it justice with how they needed to do the rollout. The music itself also impeccable. Sha Sha is, what I love about her is that she's also one of those people who just says, I'm giving you the music, but I'm still gonna remain me. I'm still gonna remain myself, and you're gonna feel that authenticity through my music as well as my on social media presence. So nothing's gonna feel fake. Nothing's gonna feel like she's taking things into a weird direction. She's always kind of stayed the course with that, and everything is testament in the album. So yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I'm happy or I'm excited to see what she does with the entire rollout. What the singles will be out of it. But otherwise, it's something for everyone out there. Like I said, the track I just told you guys, Take Me, is very slowed down. It's very vocal. And then there's other dance music on there. Of course, you know she's immaculate on an Amapiano beat. So I'm happy that she's back with a brand new album. Excited to see how the rollout will go. Absolutely. So shout out to Sha Sha for I'm Alive. And of course, somebody who's getting a lot of flack, maybe from us here or from me. I don't know. People say I feel like I get fair and unbiased review. And if it's something is dope, I'll say it's dope. I believe. If it's not dope, again, this is just me, right? But Cassper came out with Pardon My Arrogance, dropped the single and a video at the same time. It's a short song. I'm not sure who produced it. I feel like I had the name, but it leaves me now. But it has a dope vibe to the song. You know what I'm saying? He's out there in London. He's living his best life. He's linking up with these boys. I think he shot it when he was down there performing with King. So I feel like it has a very dope beat on it. He sounds comfortable on the track. It's got a nice, punchy, up-tempo beat to it. It has a reminiscent of that song that he did with that guy in America. Young nigga, but I got a lot though.
Casey
you know what I'm saying?
Veggies.
Casey Veggies. It's got that Casey Veggies feel on that track. You know what I'm saying? He's just flowing a little bit nice. I think it sounds comfortable in the track. I think the track is nice.
Yeah. I take it as well. Pardon My Arrogance. Remember when I said to you, I feel like there's other things in the chamber. He's just giving us the ones we don't understand. This is what I was talking about. Do you know what I mean?
It's different,
With Cassper, I'm happy he dropped it. I'm happy he also dropped it so soon after the other two had dropped, because I think if he had kind of waited, it would have made things a little bit like, okay, but what is happening? So I'm digging this tune. I love the energy. I love the vibe. You can hear he was just having a good time. But even with him having a good time on the song, it's coming across very well as well. Like I love the way that it was packaged, the way that it was put together, the way he wrote as well. So big ups, Cassper. Like, see, this is what I was talking about. Okay, my brother.
Definitely a step in the right direction.
Pardon My Arrogance.
I don't know if he said he was working on a new album, but if he's dropping a hip hop album now because he's busy with a lot of hip hop singles after a lot of dance stuff that he's been doing. So I hope that this is a step into more hip hop stuff. And where you're at right now, keep moving in that direction. I think the sound will only get better. And connect with your hip hop audience a lot more. So shout out Cassper in your vest. Major League. And DJ Maporisa, Tiwa Savage on the vocals, back with the track called Cuckoo Fun. What do you think of it?
Afrobeats, Amapiano, collaboration thing happening over there. I dig it, man. I also, like, I'm a Tiwa Savage fan. So for me, anything that she's featured on, I'm already just like, okay, I'm expecting it to be really dope. I love the collaboration and how they try to keep it. It's like they were creating a song for the diaspora to say, anybody who is from Africa will understand this song. So you can see it was also trying to be like okay, we're trying to do the next level of particular, but in a different direction, you know? Especially with Major Lazer coming on that one. But dope song. I think it's going to be a fun song for the summer. That's what it sounds like. Yeah,
definitely the very, very easy alley-oop. The guys said, let's just take Amapiano, let's take Afro beats, let's bring these things together. Should be an easy dub for everybody. You know what I mean? Let's put the amazing Tiwa Savage on the vocals. I think she sounds dope. She's not doing too much on the track, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like it has the beat on it. It's something that you hear and immediately recognize. You can hear the Amapiano in it. She brings that nice Afro beats angle onto it, which I feel like complements the song. The song is nice, and I feel like will be nicer when you're at a party hearing it in the summer. You know what I'm saying?
Plus it's summer.
It's summer.
It's like the right time.
Yeah.
You know, when it's hot, you just want to be dancing outside, and here's this track. You know, so.
Sure, and I haven't heard from Tiwa Savage in a bit,
Very
actually.
long.
In this,
Yeah.
especially, so it's a good come
back
for her. I would say that because you never know what people are actually busy with, especially with the Nigerian my guy. He's a busy guy. But personally, music-wise, I haven't heard a hit from her.
When you leave video, like last time, Lewis Kid.
Lewis Kid.
Tiwa, what's up?
Also, Tiwa.
Cool. But she's back now, so that's great. That's great.
Now, of course, we love these collaborations that happen across, that complement everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because you're on that track, you're like, yeah, I see my Purita's influence here. I Major League Kibao, Major Laser. I'd love to know what that situation of production is. You know what I'm saying? It's a very interesting conversation, I feel like, when you see it come out like that.
I mean, I think if anybody knows the history around Particular, you would know that Particular was actually a Major League song in collaboration with Maporisa. And then I think when Pori got that phone call from Major Lazer to be like, hey, he grabbed the song and said, Poisons, I'll give you another one. This one needs to move. So he definitely owed them a collaboration with Major Lazer. So I think this definitely came together really well. So you know, let's see how it's gonna take it to the summer.
Shout out to
Fantastic,
them.
man! Shout out to them. And just like that, we come to the end of our episode this week on the POPcast. Shout out to Ms. Dippy for joining us.
Thank you
so
for having
much.
me.
What are you busy with this summer? Where can people catch you? What's going
What's the
on?
vibe?
Okay. One pair of spotlight in Qatar. It's not like I don't like it. Anyway, so I'm a voiceover artist. I'm busy recording something for Netflix right now.
Nice.
Besides obviously having done How to Ruin Christmas, so that's coming out soon.
Amazing.
And I'm on Takalani Sesame as well.
Oh wow.
Shout out.
As a 4-year-old character. And I'm finally working on my music again. Like a lot of my supporters, I don't like saying fans, it just sounds very weird to me, but a lot of my supporters have been like, yo, dog, you've been so quiet with the music. So I'm definitely working on that again. Not going to particularly focus on house music only now. I'm going to, you know, go into other types of sounds. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's so dope. But when does How to Ruin Christmas come out again?
It always comes out in December.
Okay.
So I can't give you a particular date right now. But it's usually like the 16th of December every year. So I don't know about this year, but it's definitely in December this year.
Nice.
How to Ruin Christmas 3.
Yes. Shout outs to you, girl. Love the fact that
you.
you're putting in the work. And of course, where can people follow you on socials?
On Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere. Also SoundCloud and, you know, Spotify. I go by the same name, Miss Dippy. It's not MISS, like Miss.
Ooh, girl, I have to fight all the time. I'm always like it's MS.
MS. But you know, oh yeah, you've also got
I've got the very same problem. Sometimes
Like,
what's in Mrs. Cosmo.
Yeah, you're like, what's going on?
And I'm like, wait, no.
Someone call you Mrs.
like
Cosmo.
that.
Yeah,
you
Mrs.
know,
Cosmo from now
or
on.
Apple Music, Mrs. or
She never
Miss.
told me that.
I won't lie. But it's MS space DIPPY, Miss Dippy, and you'll find me everywhere. I'm very active. I have gone a bit quiet because, you know, social media does scare me a bit. I won't lie. But I've started coming back, and yeah, let's do this. Let's enjoy life.
Fantastic.
Summer.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
You've
you
been
for having me.
amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll watch out for the music when it drops.
Sure.
We'll be reviewing it right there in these type of chairs. Yeah?
And you heard how Sipo was going off on Elaine.
Yeah, that's how I'm just like,
I did not go off
damn it.
on the name. You guys are always making me look like a bad guy.
I mean,
it's fine, he's doing his job.
Please don't forget to join us 7 p.m. every Thursday at Prime Video ZA on Twitter as we unpack Rings of Power.
Yes.
And of course, like, comment, subscribe, share this content. Drop us a comment down here. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, who you want to see, who you don't want to see, because you might see them anyway. But otherwise, shout out from myself and Miss Cosmo. We out of here.
See you next week.